So I just want to get this little tip real quick because I noticed this and I've always done it, and I just had a conversation that led me to believe that I need to make a video on it. But so single stage press reloading or turret press reloading, which is single stage modified, right? Where you have like this setup. Hold on. Where you have, this is my setup here. You know, Lubricizer, turret press, 308 die, M expanding die set up for my 308, 308 seat die, full length size die, 45 Colt cedar die, just random die, right? Under the plate they give you with the nut here and the bigger expander, and that's my turret setting or micrometer setting thing for 7.7 grains of tight group. Bang, got it for that at a local gun shop. I run 7.7 grains in my 308. Probably can't see that for shit. Yep. Ooh, see all the case volumes. And I seat it here and watch. I'll put one of my cast bullets. This is called aluminum gas check. They're just a shitty. It's got mostly beeswax. It's got some molly lube mixed into it. Just whatever's in here. It's straight beeswax because I've got like a beeswax cake I double boiled into that mug there. And I've also got some more beeswax cakes I bought off of eBay that are just like junk goldenrod or whatever, just a junk fucking beeswax that somebody harvested and sold. And I melted it, opened this top completely up, and just poured hot molten wax in it, let it solidify, and just compressed it with the heater. And this is kind of my reloading bench here. But anyways, what I've noticed, say I just do 50 powder charges with this, with any of them. I see the bullet. I gotta scoot it back because it hits my chair. Watch the powder level when I go down. See that? It shakes, right? And eventually, it'll fill underneath that baffle up. And it'll throw heavy ass charges. It won't focus unless I have some skin behind it. So that's what it kind of looks like. And as you see, I've charged, 250 rounds or so, a little bit more, and I'm just putting them in the bucket for now so that way I can actually go and train with some ammunition. It's cheap to shoot this way. It cycles out of that G3 of mine, and it works. But I've noticed like I said, if I take a case, set it in there, see if I can get it in frame. Right, do it real soft like. Sometimes it doesn't always want to cooperate. It'll still bump a little bit of powder down into here and settle it, what I call settle it, right? What settling does, and that's the point of this baffle here, is what settling does is puts a lot of pressure to force it to feed by the weight of the powder into this drum system. So if you let it settle below this baffle here, and even on the top of the baffle, in my opinion, if you let it settle, it'll throw really heavy charges. When I just first set this up, I was doing a bunch of loading, and it had settled, and I weighed it. Am I weighing it all? Something like this, right? Well, I'll have to, anyways. 0. I didn't think this through. Alright, leave me alone. See what it does. Alright, that should have been about every grain powder here. Up onto here. It's 7.6, 7.7, which is where I want to be. Right? I want 7.7. I'll settle for 7.6. 7.6 was more accurate. But if you let it settle here, and we can expedite the process. See how it's just filling up, right? And it'll fill up better if you got it more full, right? Now, I'm going to take, and I'm going to zero this. Best I can here, right? Hopefully that could have caught every one of them. If it didn't, probably will still show. See, 7.8. So I just increased it by 2/10. Right? Which isn't a lot, but when you got that whole thing full of powder, it does it up to 8 grains. And 8 grains is well over my 1100 speed limit that I have for myself. It's safe to shoot, but it's well over my limit. So what I do is I'll take, and it's not exactly like this because I usually work with 2 hands, is I'll take this and I'll just start working this like so, and then I'll take it and I'll just dump it like so. Take it. Oh, that was close. And dump it, right? And since I'm using a Lyman Spartan here, an old one I got off of fucking eBay, ST, see? It's, so my bench is level, and you can see that head is angled. Well, if my shit's on there, this is angled. But it doesn't throw it off for some weird reason. But what does throw it off is that settling of that powder. So before I start loading, I'll take and I'll run the whole column by cycling it, like doing 20 charges, dumping it, doing 20 charges, dumping it. I'll cycle that whole column through, so that way it takes and relieves all the weight pressure off of that powder the best it can, like a fluffy flour type thing instead of a dense flour, you know. It's like play sand, right? You get it wet and it settles. If you get play sand wet, it'll settle, and then it'll be like concrete. I'm trying to figure out where to put my, it'll be like from here, get it wet, it'll rise up just a little bit, and then all the water will help settle all that shit down, and it'll be down to here now, you know what I'm saying? So then that has more density, which has a tendency, since we're throwing powder charges through density essentially, cubic volume of density essentially, that equates out to weight because we check it on the scale. And that's why you get variances, because you'll have variances in static density. You want to relieve as much density as you can, because if you have the least amount of static, there's a word for it, and I'm missing it, but static pressure against the column of powder, you'll throw more consistent, better charges. I've found this out over the years, because I do not empty that and I don't adjust it, because I'm still working on the same load, because I'm just trying to get some trigger time and trying to be quiet with it. So I have a load that works, and I want to stay with it, and I want to shoot it, and that's all I need. It's just this takes for fucking ever, for the simple fact that I'm working with this equipment here, and with this many rounds, I started at 9 o'clock and it started to be 12:30. Now I'm not working stupid fast, but 3 hours, and all I've done was make the rest of my bullets up. I ran out of gas checks and charged 250, 260 cases, So it takes a lot of time doing this. So I want to switch to a progressive setup, and I want to switch to a Lee cheap little 6-pack. I don't need much, because I can still use this equipment to size, and then I'll throw it into the tumbler and clean it, and then once it's clean, I can make sure that it's clear of any media that I use, and then I can throw it through the progressive press. It can case mouth a flare the first station, then I can prime, then the second station could be powder charge, the third station could be seating the bullet, the fourth station could be factory crypt, on it. And then I can include a powder cop die in there if I wanted to, which I probably will. And whatever else I wanted, I'd have a free station for whatever I needed. Probably do like a custom length checker or something, and make it out to be magazine length, and run the thing up and have a finger on it, run my finger. I could do some kind of custom machining thing. I don't have any machine equipment, but I can hire it out to a job shop. But yeah, that's a ramble that you don't need to hear. But yeah, that's how I do my powder. And I have it on this turret so I can spin it in and out of the way, so I can either charge back here or charge up here. And if I charge up here, this allows it to be forward enough that I can get that whole ass load block up underneath that powder measure and charge the whole load block up. And I'm not missing any cases or doing, and it helps speed up the process. But with a progressive reloader, you don't need it. Although I am worried about consistency of powder or charging, just because of what I just showed you. But anyways, that's my 12-minute rant. Thank you for watching.